Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday. Let's see what we got going on today. Just more buying. Every time they try to sell it down, there is nowhere to go but up. That is what happens when you have 18 trillion invested into a minus return. Not much of a choice, but to buy what does give like a dividend of a 0.5% or 1% when you most of the time are investing in things that don't derive any profit whatsoever. So fund managers must do something. So, excuse me, every time the markets back off, they have to find somewhere to go, and there just isn't that many places to go anymore. All right, let's see what the chat line looks like this morning. Let's see, where do we go? Right, trading, there we go. And there we are. Let's see what's on the chat line. No one so far, that's good. Or that's bad, actually. That's something, I guess. Excuse me. One way or the other, it is something. All right, let's see what else we got brewing along here. Let's see. All right, we're looking at Bitcoin there, but let's jump over to, we start off with currencies here. That's what we do. We talk currencies, we talk commodities. Everything is a currency anymore. Anything that's denominated in dollars seems to be a currency. All right, and where is it at? Right there. There we are. You see the Swiss moving up, which means the dollar is moving up. There's strength in the dollar. Hey, George, how you doing? Metals are down. Let's see what the metals are doing here. Right there. There's gold. Oh, yeah. I thought I saw silver go into a buy last night. Let's see, how do we get there? Do this. Control R. There we are. Do the Control R. There we are. Yeah, look at that. It's been in a weekly sell now for a few weeks here. What's the fact check spreadsheet say? Line 6 for gold. 8 weeks in a sell. So, and then 4 days in a sell. Yeah, I hear you. That is what's going on. Yeah, I guess I see dollars going up, so they usually sell metals. That's usually the way that works. When the dollar is going up in value against other pairs, usually gold is going down because that's definitely a surrogate for the dollar. So you can, if you buy gold in a foreign currency that's denominated in dollars, okay, so now you got to convert your currency to dollars. And if you don't, then it makes you short those dollars, and vice versa. If you short gold and it's in gold, short gold that's denominated in dollars, okay, that means that you need to buy dollars with your your pair, whatever country you're buying it from. So that's the way it plays out. Matter of fact, let's take a look at silver. Silver was really confusing. It slipped into the buy there. Let's try the Control R on that too. And it slipped in. Oh, no, it did not. I thought it did. Remove that. And what are we at there? Yeah, not even today. Okay, so it tried to look like last night they were putting it in there, but they changed the high and the low and changed some data out of it. Next thing you know, we're still not there. And so there it is right there, the third. And you can see these things right here. Refused. Look at that. It's just on today. What is that? Minus Z.Z2. Just by the hair of its chinny chin. It's trying to get into the buy there, and but it's not. And you can see this product is the same way. Line 9. And oh, okay. We didn't even put that in this buy. We left that in the sell. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense there. And you can see that's line 8, or is it 9? 9. 8 weeks in a sell, just like gold, and 4 days in a sell, like gold. Yeah, exactly. I had the line in there, but they took the data out, and they changed the high and the low, and next thing you know, when they do that at 10 or 11 or 12 at night, they take that data out or put it in. We have no control over that. This is by the exchange, by the clearinghouses. So the problem is that they're putting some of these products, not some of them, all of them at one time or another, but it seems like two or three products a night, one or two products a night. That's why I think Robin was saying to people, pay attention to the morning, and the late in the day, if you know what you can do too, and I guess we could do that. We might need to do that. Is take a look at what the chart is saying, and trying to see what the settlement is on the exchange after the markets have closed. That's the key right there, because they're changing data, and you can see over here on the chart. Let's see if we can see that. Let's move this over a little bit more, like that. Does that do it? Yeah. Okay. See right here in that corner, it shows you the price of the last. So 26.61 is the last, and so at night we need to keep a track of that, because some of these products, if it's very close, like it was last night on it, somehow or another, when I did the spreadsheet, remember I do the spreadsheet, the fact check spreadsheet by hand, and it must have changed again, at like 7 at night or something like that. So that's what the problem is that sometimes that's what's going on nowadays, is that the exchanges are not collecting up all the data. They're allowing trades to go through without it being posted live. And then what they do is, at the end of the clearing night, their back office clearing, they put it in, because they're hiding the volume, because they want nobody to know who's doing it. I know that sounds kind of nefarious, but that's what goes on. That's what black pools and the multi-exchanges are doing, is they hide. It's like the high-frequency trading thing. They hide what's going on. And so it's ever since 2008, we are down just incredible numbers in volume and so forth. We've lost a lot of participation. Just recently we were starting to pick up some of it, but that's what the problem is. So we'll just have to keep track of that. And we do that. Every so often, we have those issues. And so there we are right there. That's something. And then that's why I'm always refreshing. Notice every time I go to a chart, I refresh the chart just to see what data has been reloaded into the system. And what that does is it goes to the broker clearinghouse, because we're taking live data, and then basically watching how it refreshes it. Now let's take a look at copper. Copper was curious. Now, like last night, they were trying to get that into the buy, and they did not, I don't think. Let's see, that's line 8. Yeah, so last night, copper, I thought copper was in a buy last night. Let's just refresh that. Control R. Yeah, okay, so that's today. All right, so what we can do is we can put a green line here. And if it closes like this, with the green and the white above the 0 line, then this opens up higher than what it closed today, you can purchase this at night, because we're in a weekly buy, and that's how that works there. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. Those days of a consolidated tape where all trades are seen, those days are gone, which makes it really hard to tape read. People trying to tape read find out that the transactions are happening on the side. There have been fights about that, but they have not been able to deal with it. They just cannot. There you have. I guess what it is that the hedge funds and like a Warren Buffett, they don't like people knowing what they're buying and selling, and that's what the problem is that they don't want people to know what they buy and sell, and so they're getting away with hiding the transactions. Matter of fact, didn't they lose? They lost a fellow who was going to replace Buffett. Remember, about 3 years ago, because he made trades and stuff in his personal account and didn't tell anybody. That's the mentality we have up in that level of investing nowadays. They'll do anything to get the edge, legally or illegally, and then just pay the fine. In other words, make $1.5 billion, pay $50 million for doing it. Okay, I'll take the $1.5 billion and give you $50 million. That's pretty much their attitude about it all. And so what they do is they hide trades, and the brokerage houses allow them to hide trades, and the Securities Exchange Commission doesn't enforce it on the brokerage houses. And so the next thing you know is like a Tudor Jones. I'm sure if he wants to buy 5,000, silver contracts, and not let anybody know for a couple of days, and then step up and buy another 4 or 5,000, and then everybody rushes in, and then he sells out 4 or 5,000 that the first 4 or 5,000 or the tranche that he bought, then he can front run his own trade, and that's what they're doing. They do stuff like that nowadays, and the CFTC and the Securities Exchange Commission allow that. That's why they have things called black pools. People wonder what that means. What happens is that they're able to clear the trades, but they don't disseminate the trades to the tape to the tape itself. In other words, the live transaction. In other words, if you're in America, that's why sometimes you notice like they won't allow us to trade like German stocks or European stocks. It's because of the way it's disseminated and accounted. It's a combination of accounting and dissemination. And what happens is that when they don't allow that to go, when they hide it, it's supposed to be not allowed. In other words, it has to be, if you're doing public, you're a fund and you're incorporated, you have to disseminate the trade instantly, not a day later, not 8 hours later, instantly. And so that's what the black pools do, is they allow them to do these transactions, and then they can, then they can let the news out 6 or 7 hours later that they're stepping up and buying, and then other money chases after what they're buying, and then they liquidate part of what they've already bought, and as they're buying more. So they're actually selling to themselves what they've already bought. And that's how that works. Hey, Robin. So that's the name of the game there. Let's see. So there's copper. All right. There's the metals. You can see, you're right. The metals are sloppy and moving around, going nowhere, basically. And you can see here the dollar is actually firm, and we can see the same thing. The dollar against the euro, again, is weak, which is it's supposed to be. Just like the way the Swiss is firm against the rising and losing against the dollar. And in the cable's kind of interesting. You can see here, yesterday they put a nice little low in, which we did not see that low. They obviously put that in somehow. And this is cash. I don't understand that. I don't remember seeing that low yesterday. I just don't remember. Matter of fact, let's go take a look at a chart as a good example of this black pool stuff that's going on with everything. Let's see. I'm going to go to my... Is that it right there? I think that's it right there. Yeah. And now let's look at yesterday's chart of... Okay, let's move that up. Yeah. See that? This is yesterday's chart we sent out to our clients. That's last night. Notice that the low is not much lower than that last low. It's lower, of course, but it's not... Look at now how demonstratively lower it is. Now let's do this. Let's do a Control R and see what happens if it cleans it up. Nope. Now look at that. That's not even close to what we sent out. Oh, let's do that again. That's not even close, and we can make this even bigger, I think. Yeah. Can we do that? Watch this. Let's see how we do this. That's what we sent out last night, and we're going to make this like that. And this is a classic example of what I'm talking about. Right there, look at that. That low is nowhere near. That is nowhere near these two lows, but you can see, looking at it, it looks relatively close, right? And then now look at it. They put information in there, other trades that we did not see live. That's why we survive. You can't even trust the fundamentals anymore whatsoever. And there's a perfect example of it. This is what we sent out last night to clients. That low was not there. Now it's there today live. And so that's the problem. Transactions are occurring. We're not seeing them. I'm talking about the general trading population. And then sometimes it's a big event, and sometimes it's a non-event. In a sense, it doesn't distort the market. And that's a perfect example right there with the cable. They came in and they put some trades in there, and they weren't there yesterday. And this is like at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on this chart that we sent out. And you can see the close was higher the last two closes, just like there. But somehow or another, matter of fact, look at that low. That low is now matching that low over there. And there's no way that's matching it there live. And so that's what we fight with. Now, it doesn't happen on every product. It happens once in a while. We are able to clean it up in the middle of the night ourselves. But the problem is by then, if you're trying to trade into the night, then you can get in trouble. So, because if they come in and put data in that we didn't know about, it changes our dots. It changes our gas line, the whole bit. Our system is so sensitive to everything and anything they do, whereas the average system, no one's looking at it. We look at it almost on a microscopic level. We're looking at every product literally on a microscopic level, on a relativistic basis. So if I could go down and look at the atoms, I'd be measuring the atoms. This math was invented to measure atoms. And so I invented this math to fight the Higgs boson fantasy. And sure enough, we knew back then Higgs boson was going to be proven right with an accelerator, of course. The math was fudged right from day one. We knew it right then. And I created this mathematical formula to challenge that and come up with a secondary way of secondary. Is that secondary thing again, Robin? Secondary way of measuring particle movement. And so you can see it here. And that's why when we look at some of these things, look at where is it at? Right there. Look at the numbers. Plot 1 is 0.00137, and it goes out even further. If I stop, I can allow these digits to go out to millions, and we're actually measuring millions of movement. Just that small. All right. They add the previous day's bar in the middle of the night. Yeah. Well, it's a clearinghouse. So in other words, by law they're supposed to put every trade in. They're not supposed to hide them. In other words, it's supposed to be seen the moment it executes. But that's what black pools. You've heard the word black pool before? I wonder if we can Google that. I'm sure they give it a good explanation of a black pool. Let's see. Black pools. There we go. Dark pools. Let's see what it says here. There we go, right here. There it goes. Dark pools or black pools. Dark pools are private exchanges for trading securities that are not accessible by the investing public, also known as dark pools of liquidity. The name of these exchanges is a reference to their complete lack of transparency. Dark pools came about primarily to facilitate block trading by institutional investors who do not wish to impact the markets with their large orders and obtain adverse prices for their trades. Dark pools are sometimes cast in an unfavorable light, but in reality they serve a purpose. However, their lack of transparency, that's what I like that. But they serve a purpose. Yeah, the purpose is to hide the trades, which is against the law. However, their lack of transparency makes it vulnerable to potential conflicts of interest by their owners. That's what dark pools are. We call them black pools. And that's where they are. And after 2008, at one point the Securities Exchange Commission and the CFTC would clamp down on those things. But after 2008, they stopped. They stopped clamping down on them. So that's what that is right there. Yeah. And so what they're doing is they hide information for funds. And so if like a Tudor Jones wants to be long British pounds right now, or he wanted to sell British pounds, he sold them. And I'm just using him as an example. There's dozens and dozens of other funds that do the same thing, except for most people know who Paul is, and Paul Tudor Jones, and his fund of trading in the commodities and the currencies. So, someone like that came in, sold a lot, didn't want anybody to know about it, and then it came into the system. It was shown in the clearing. Once it makes it into the clearinghouse, then it's disseminated out to all exchanges and platforms, but not until. So it could have happened 8 hours ago. You're calling the CFTC? They're not done. Well, why? They don't care. I fought with them 20 years ago about it. That was what the investigation started off with. Me complaining about illegal activity. That you saw where it took me. You can't. They don't care. They'll just give you some lip service and then put us on their scope. Don't. It's not worth it. We're not going to change it. No one's going to change it. It can't be changed. They allow it to go on now, and there's no way they're going to stop it. No one cares. That's the way life is now. Look at the financial market. Look at quantitative easing. You really think quantitative easing is like a legit thing? Think about it. The central banks are generating, between the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the U.S. Federal Reserve, the two of them are generating $250 billion worth of new money every month. They don't print it. What they do is they line item it and put it into the banks as an asset. $250 billion a month is going into the system, being printed. We call it printing, but it's not printing. They're not printing euros and dollars. They line item it, and it's disseminated out to the banks and loads the banks up with extra cash. How the cash, now what they do is they may generate it as in bonds, or they generate it or they buy the bonds back from the banks. That's what the repo market is. So now they can't. They're not going to, because the clients don't want it done, and the CME will not fight the clients. They want the execution. They want the commission. They're not going to change this. It's done. Those days are gone. Didn't we have a conversation like this on Monday or Friday of last week about the idea that the New York Stock Exchange now has 6 NASDAQ stocks in their major index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is an index of the New York Stock Exchange. Well, 6 of those stocks are NASDAQ stocks now. No, they don't want them, because then someone will find out someone has transacted, and the transactors want to be hidden. So they're not going to put the volume in, and they're not going to put the high and low in. They can't put the trade in. Not going to happen. Not worth the fight. I tried it once. I literally battled with them back 20 years ago. That's how the whole conversation started, and you saw where it ended. All right. Let's see where we at. So there's the cable, and the cable is moving up. Look at it's playing with the daily buy. We're in the weekly buy. Didn't we write something about this yesterday? That's what we did. We wrote something about this. Hey Daniel, how you doing? Right there. Right there. They don't even want a receipt of the trade, because a receipt of the trade lets everybody know that somebody was in there, and someone will spill the beans on who it was. Nah, matter of fact, what's Bitcoin doing? Notice that? Bitcoin's getting beat up too. Let's see, where's Bitcoin? Right there. There's the March Bitcoin. It's not really going anywhere. So what it's done is I guess it's set like a base, got down to 45,000. Then what's the low there? 46,000. And then today's low is 47,000. So the higher lows now in the Bitcoin. And let's see what else is brewing there. You can see our daily is trying to lift up. We're still in a weekly buy. So I tried getting this thing to fill back more. Look, it's just the problem is that there's just not a lot of data. I mean, it's just so scrunched together. There's nothing there. Look at them. They're just flat lines. All right. Where else do we go? Let's go back to Turkish lira. See what the Turkish lira is doing this morning. It did go into a sell a couple of days ago, but it seems to be holding up fairly well. And you can see it's playing with the weekly sell again. So I guess, they made a nice bounce from the high 6, almost 7 area, I guess you could say. What's the low? The 689 up to almost 748. Not too bad. That was interesting. Let's see, Daniel. AM quants. All right, there you go. Then where do we drift from here? I would just want to take a quick look at the ruble. I think the ruble's going into the sell last day or two. Yeah, there's some pressure there. Went to the weekly sell there. We're starting to see that pressure again. And then we jump over to Canadian. Normally jump the Canadian right off. And you can see there the Canadian is drifting around for the last couple of days. Let's give it a refresh. And that is, you can see here the weekly is holding up very well. It almost flipped into the buy and then failed. And now it's rolling over. The daily buy barely, look at that. That was funny. Not haha funny. It was funny how it was so close. Almost made it into the buy, and the next day it pumped. My God. And then it just lifted up, and then it just rolled right over again. That could be Blackpool action. That kind of looks like it too, And the math is trying to tell you, no, don't do anything. Most of the time, the math picks up the Blackpool situation much faster than us seeing the data. But once in a while, it changes it on a very short-term basis, like a couple hours. But our math picks it up and puts us back in the safe zone. And so that's the way it is. You see here, okay. So there's the Canadian. It is definitely now flirting with a daily sell. Okay. Right back in with the weekly sell. Let's see. Yeah, strong day on the cable. It really is. Well, I guess, look at this again. That deep sell that went on yesterday, fat finger or large, capitulation, whatever you want to call it. Now the buyers had to buy it, and so now they want to sell it higher. And obviously, that's how we interpret that on the professional side. If you see a product that makes new lows and it does it on large volume, and then the volume disappears and it starts to drift plus, what's happened is that it was a large seller, and it wasn't the consensus of the marketplace. It was just a large seller that needed to get out. And then as you see, and then a lot of times you'll see it rise, or vice versa if they did that. If it spikes up, like remember the what do they call it? The GameStop vigilantes. Let's see, where do we have that? Oh, right here. Here we go. Check out silver. Silver shows a good example of it right there. Major spike up, closes down for the day too. At the same time, we get a red dot. We go into a sell here. Confirmed at that point because this is a gas 3, and so let's widen this there. And the green line breaks down, and the white line, what is that? It almost looks like a super. And so then what happens is that the what they call the GameStop vigilantes said that they were going to rip the face of silver off on a rally because it was undervalued, like GameStop. And the central banks laughed at them and said, sure. And then it fell apart. And that it's the same type of thing as the inverse to looking at this right there. Let's see. Daniel says Mexican peso. Let's see what the Mexican peso is doing. Up again. FX, including exotics, are not moving a lot. I'll tell you, the exotics are doing a pretty good job, though. I'm impressed how over the decades now the exotics actually have a good opportunity to make action. You know, have good trades. That's because money's distributed everywhere now. Remember, the reason why exotics didn't go anywhere is they didn't have a large enough economy, or they didn't have a large enough, or they didn't have a large enough interest rate to attract attention, or they didn't have enough growth to attract attention. They didn't have a large enough economy to grab attention. But now that the central banks across the planet are keeping everything stable, they're pouring money into these minor pairs trades, or exotics as we call them, and so there's some return there. There's some good money to be made. So let me put my glasses on because I see the chat line is moving faster and faster. Okay, so where'd we go? Oh, there's the peso. Yeah, so the peso went into a sell yesterday, but it's lifting up a little bit here today. But we're in the weekly buy, so you can't take the short. So if this comes back up into the buy again, more than likely you're going to get this action. I guess that's not positive, right, for the peso? Obviously not. In other words, it's a negative because it's going up in value. So it's more and more pesos to a dollar. So the Mexicans are not, Mexico's not getting what we used to say, the biggest bang for your buck. So, all right. Let's see. What else did Daniel say about peso? Peso. Okay, FX, including exotics, are not moving a lot. Robin says, Daniel, we send out Doc's work, top chart twice daily. Visit. Okay, sign up. Okay. Bitcoin took attention today. Bitcoin futures up 10%, ETH up 12%. Now, we didn't see that. Is that what they are? I mean, to me, they looked sloppy. Didn't even look that close when we looked at the Bitcoin. So they're buying it today. No, see, that's it. Now, this is reflecting it as down. Oh, wait a minute. That's a second. That's not even today, is it? Is that today? No, today is the third. What's up with this thing? There we go. Okay. There it is. So there you go. Yeah, you're getting your action and it's lifting up. It's joining in with the weekly buy. That makes sense. And how high is that? Okay, they're back up to 52,800. Nice. Almost 900. Let's see. 10-year. Yeah, let's take a look at 10-year. 10-year, I thought, closed in a daily buy. What's that? Line 11. Yeah, look at line 11 on the fact check spreadsheet over here. Right there. Yeah, it closed in the buy, and now it's pushing down again. And we're in a weekly sell for 4 weeks total. Now we're going on a fifth. See that right there, 4 and 1. So it's in a daily buy, and now it's pushing back into the daily sell. Let's see. I'm just going to save that. No one's getting it, but I like to save it anyway. And then look at the 30-year, which is yielding a 2.4%, if not better right now. There's the 30-year. That went into the buy and is pushing it right back down again, but that's also in a weekly sell. So there's the 30-year. That's probably, what we're seeing with the currency pairs. The weakness in the currency pairs against the dollar is the interest rate. When you're getting some type of return, whereas if you buy a Bund or you buy a Swiss 10-year, or who else, they're barely yielding anything, whereas the 10-year here in the United States is yielding 1.43%, 1.44%, something like that. So, a carry trade. Yep, mortgage rates are moving up. They are. Boy, we're gonna have a wild and woolly economy once they pass the new crazy, you know, $2 trillion stimulus. It'll be fun, that's for sure. All right. Let's see where else. Oh, did we do the energies? Did we look at energies? Let's look at the energies. Let's first look at. I want to go back to the currency and look at NASCAD. Right there. It's trying to perk its little head up, isn't it? It's trying to move up. It's starting to bounce. It's still in a weekly buy, so I mean you can't take the sells too serious more than just taking profits at this point. And then look at the crude oil this morning. Trying to lift up just like the NASCAD is. It's trying, that's for sure. Over on this fact check spreadsheet, that's line 5. 14 weeks in a weekly buy and 2 days in a daily sell. And then natural gas. I saw something about natural gas. Let's see. Let's update that. They're buying it again. Look at this. The weekly is trying to get back into the buy. It's minus ZZZZZ4. 5 zeros out altogether from the 0.00004. Always blows my mind when I see my math doing stuff like that to something that trades in the dollars. And I'm not looking at a cent, right? We're not even looking at 1 cent. We're not like looking at like a penny. We're looking at not even a tenth of a penny. We're like, where was that? Where was it that we were looking at? I'm confused now. Where was all those Z's at? We're going out. Well, we're going 4 digits out right there, and I limit it at that 4 or 5 digits, I think it is, where it would show you like it would go way out there. Do you ever see sometimes when I put this on there, when I open up a new chart? You ever notice like when someone says I'd like to see something, and I put it in there, and you notice that the gas line 3 is flat-lined with the 0 line. You can't even see it. It's that tight of a increment we're watching of movement. It's that small. Molecular. We're at molecular level. That's where we are when we're measuring things around here. And that's where it is. The weekly. Look at the weekly. That's it. I knew it was around here somewhere. Look at that. Oh, it's even changed. Look at that. It was 4 before, right? So it was Z. It was 0.0004. And it's moved up from that to 0.00, only 3 zeros, and a 12. See, we measure on such a scale that it's an incredible minute movements. I think that's so funny. Oh, it blows my mind. Oh my God. All right, let's save that. That's natural gas. Maybe this thing's going to get back into the plus again. I don't know. I mean, we're going into nice warm weather, and natural gas. I guess maybe it's got to do with Biden and his pipeline stuff. Now that he's eliminating production. Maybe that's what it's doing. It's freaking things out. Maybe that's what we're really seeing out of it all in the end. All right. Let's see. So that's natural gas and crude oil. And so we can see here the energies are lifting up. Both of them are. Only difference is that crude oil is, where's it at? Right there. That's the April contract. It's working. Let's see what the increment is there. Oh, it's only is it a cent? I guess that is a cent, isn't it? So, yeah, no, it's a third of a cent. That's what that is. See what this looks like. That's a whole cent. Look at that. The weekly is really kicking up. We're measuring 1 penny to make a decision. Less than a penny. Doesn't that blow your mind? It blows mine every day. I mean, I'm totally aghast from it. All right, where do we go from here, traders? Anybody have anything they'd like to see? Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, you know what I want to see? I want to see coffee. Oh, good. They put a trade in. Is that no? That's the dollar index. Okay. That's trying to lift up. It tried to go into the. It didn't go into the sell. Oh, okay. Look at that. Okay, so it's up in price, but our math is starting to turn us down. Well, look at that. 0.01. So we're actually flirting around with a daily sell at the moment in the, which is interesting. It's up, but look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that weekly, zipping up with some strength in there on the dollar index itself. Let's see, where's UUP? UUP. There it is right there. And then let's look at coffee. We have somebody checking out coffee nowadays. It's kind of neat. There you go. I wonder if we can fix that so it'll. I wonder if we put like 24.5 in there. Still won't do it. Well, no, still only it hasn't traded yet. Well, we went into the sell there, but we're still in a weekly buy by the hair of our chinny chin. Wonder what's going to go on there. You can see that right there. 0.02 and 0.57. That's it. Yeah, because remember this is a gas 3.5. So the plot 6 is the 5 and the plot 1 is the 3. All right. Let's save that. Lately, they've been not updating that in the mornings. I'm not sure what that's all about. Notice that they're doing it ever since they started to sell the product. And then we noticed when it was rising, they were stepping up every morning. And at this point in time, there was a trade, but now there is not. All right, now, close. Let's see. What else is there? Oh, let's take a look at the stock indices over here. They're starting to lift them up. So there's the NASDAQ 100. Let's just put it. Earlier this morning, it was doing fine. I guess they're selling it down. How much is that up or down now? That is, oh, it's only 32 now. Okay, yeah, it was like 108. So they were trying to take this thing up. You can see the high there. And you can see we're holding on to the downside. Green line is trying to, is moving up. But look at the histogram. It's not going anywhere. All these were up into the plus side of things. More than a couple hours ago. I guess, and there's news coming out, right? In another 16 minutes. Oh, I know what it was. The ADP thing is coming out, right? Or came out already. So the employment prelude came out. That's what that was. Now you can see here the S&P 500 is flirting with the daily buy. So we'll go like that. And then let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average doing the same exact thing. But it has the volatility signal going on. Look at that, the way they've marched up after that sell-off here. The YM. Right there. All right. I think, what else can we look at here? Oh, let's look at the, boy, I'll tell you, the Russell 2000 is amazing. It's an entity of its own anymore. It's up right now 16, almost 17 points, right? And the S&Ps are up 12 points. I mean, it this morning it was up 32 points at one point. At one point, point, and amazing, just amazing. And it was in the plus, and now you can see there it's back to minus. Well, it was minus 0.33. Now it's minus. There it is again, 3323, 40.33. Talk about sensitivity, huh, traders? Wow, huh? Cool. Neat-o. Very neat-o. Very neat-o. All right. Now, so that's the stock indices. So we've seen the energies, we've seen the metals, we've seen the interest rates, and we've seen the stock indices themselves. So that's pretty much about that. And now we have a good idea what's going on the planet. Supposedly, Texas is dropping. Not supposedly, they are. They're dropping a lot of the COVID stuff. I guess that last month was a real eye opener. You look at California and you look at Florida, right? And they both have the same rules. No, wait a minute. They both have the same. California has a few more deaths percentage-wise and an economy that's sputtering. And Florida is open and California is closed. And they have the same thing. So in other words, the lockdown doesn't help any, which is really weird, So, I mean, why isn't science being used? I mean, every politician says we're going to use science, but when you show them math, they don't want to look at it. That's not science. They want to look at something else, philosophy. We're going to use philosophy, science philosophy. All right, where do we go from here? I want to see what else. We can go back into the currency universe. We looked at the ruble, that pressure coming down with the weekly. This will be a second week. We haven't had a second week in a while. There was the last time we had a second week, and the next thing you know, the third week was a good drop. Now that we've had a good drop, let's see, this was a weekly buy, went into the sell here in the middle of a good drop. Maybe this time they break the channel. Maybe they come back down into the low 70s, something like that. See what they do there. All right, Zolty. There's the Zolty. Daniel, you're the one that likes to. Oh, you watched. That's right. You watched the dollar Zolty pairs trade. Did we look at that yesterday? I'm not sure if we did. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of DAX. I just don't care. There we go. And then, let's see. Let's grab that, make a copy of it. And then let's paste it. And let's take a look at, it with the dollar instead. There it is at the bottom. Let's see. So what does it go? It must go the other way then, huh? The Zolty? Is that what it does? So is it PLN? PLN. PLN. Okay, let's go over to J4X. Let's get rid of this. Close. And we'll look at that. Close and close. Let's go to J4X. Dollar Zolty? I don't see it there. So let's go the other way. There's the Euro Zolty. Is there a Zolty floating around somewhere? Why don't I see a dollar Zolty? MNOP. No, I don't see it. And I don't see it here either. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Daniel, wasn't there, let's see. Let's try it this way. USD slash, no, wrong keyboard. Let's try this again. Move that one over there like that. All right. USD slash PLN. There it is right there. Okay. Hard to believe we've never looked at this before. So I have to add that. Okay, so instrument, add USD, look up, cash, USD again. There it is right there. Okay. And then do that one. Okay, there it is right there. So, oh, okay, look at that. Oh, you're saying it's going to fall back to the 366. Okay. Not well, it's in a daily and weekly buy. That's for sure. Right there. Buy. And the daily buy was right there. Yeah. Right there was the daily buy. So it needs to, let's see, there was the last daily buy. Let's put that in. And then solid line like so. And there it is on the Dukascopy too at the same time. And then where'd the sell come in? Right there? What did it do? Go in a sell and then a buy. It's a 5. So that went into a sell. Right there. And then went back into the buy and then back into a sell again. So there. And there. And right there. And let's move this over a little bit. And the last big sell was right there. So, oh no, right there. We can move that. We can dot it again. In and out. In and out. There you go. There's the Zolty and a dollar pairs. So I went into the weekly sell here. Was in the daily sell there. That's cool. Was that a daily sell there? Yeah, I guess it was. No, it wasn't. It was the one right over. That was the daily sell right there. And then went into a buy on that. And it didn't last long though, did it? One day, and it was right back in the saddle again. There was the sell again. And there's the buy right there, just one day. and not there, not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Went all the way out to not there, not there. Went all the way out to there before it went into a buy again. There's the buy right there. All that. Look at that. Look at that distance. Couldn't do it because it was a red and green there. Couldn't do it because it was a red and green there. Couldn't do it there either because it was a red and green there. And then it went into the buy. And couldn't go in. Did it go into the sell? I think it was that one that went into the sell right there. But you couldn't take it. And then 2 days later, you were back into the buy again. Like so. This is interesting. What a solid currency. And then, what else we got going on? There it is again, the sell right there. Another winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then we got into the weekly buy. And there was your, nope, right there. That was the first buy right there. And then goes into a sell here. Right there. And then the buy is right there. And then it goes into the sell right there. But you're in a weekly buy. But you're flirting with the weekly sell. That's kind of cool. And then it goes into a buy there. But we're in a sell at that point. So you can't take it. Ooh. And then you go into the sell right there and you're in a sell. You can take that. And then a buy. Where's the buy? Right there. There we go. I wonder what that is. That's the buy. One back right there. 0.0003. And then it's a winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then it goes into the sell, not there, but right there. That is not too much of a winner, winner, chicken dinner. I mean, it goes down, but not a lot. And then it goes back into the buy. Okay, there we go. That's pretty cool. So we got the dollar Zolte. We have never really looked at that. That's kind of neat. Hell, you could tell we were over in J4X, and J4X had the calculator for a while. We've never looked at it there either. And so Daniel's looking for 366, which is not that far away, but this thing doesn't... let's see, what's the low there? 368. What's the low there? Oh, what's that low right there? 368 again. There's your 365. Okay. So this thing trades so cleanly. You got to figure we get into a daily sell sooner or later, especially if we're getting into a weekly sell. You get into weekly and daily sell, chances are you're going to get your 366. That's for sure. All right. I guess we've had enough fun today. I think today's we'll be labeling this something like dollar Zolte. We've never really looked at that before. That's kind of neat. Let's see, where's that? Get rid of that. Go like that. So traders, Zolte. Yep, ZWOTY. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, guys. Ta-ta for now. Catch you tomorrow.